Hey, I'm Scott Cole from YourGolfSwingFix.com, and I just wanted to discuss real quick, some thoughts on conventional golf instruction. And what I find is probably the most overrated part of the golf swing is the takeaway. The reason I say that is if you look at the 150 to 200 swings you see on the PGA Tour, you're probably going to find at least 100 different takeaways. And yet, with most conventional golf instruction, if you got some kind of a ball flight issue, you're hitting it fat, you're hitting it thin, you're slicing it, you're hooking it, you're pulling it, you're pushing it. One of the first things that most instructors do is go right for the takeaway. First they might set you up with, they might look at your grip or whatever, and that could be a huge issue too. I mean, if you got a really strong grip and you're slicing it and a guy changes your grip and weakens your grip, then your slice is just going to get worse. And a lot of instructors will do that kind of thing just because they don't like how your grip looks. And I think the same is the same can be said for the takeaway. An instructor might just zoom right in on that takeaway because they don't like how it looks. What most people really need to focus on is moving the body properly in the golf swing and forgetting about what the arms are doing until they get the body movements right. The most important part of the golf swing in my mind is the transition between the backswing and the downswing. So if you just get it into a half-decent position at the top, and I'm not just talking about where the club is, it's, how your body is, then all you got to do is make a good transition move that's led by the lower body, and you can hit the ball well. All you got to do is look at Jim Furyk's golf swing to know that that is the case. So, I mean, that is one of the most funky swings you're going to see out there. And, you had guys like Miller Barber and Chichi Rodriguez with funny looking swings too. And they played on the PGA Tour for years and had great success. So the takeaway is not a very important part of the golf swing, and yet it becomes a focal point for most instructors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to present a little video here after my little spiel. And I'm going to do some V1 looks at a bunch of different takeaways of various PGA Tour players. And you're just going to see that there's a bunch of different takeaways out there, but these guys generally get similar results when it comes to ball striking. So if you're on the tour, you hit the ball really good. I mean, there is no one out there on the PGA Tour that hits it like a guy who shoots 90. So check that video out. Just keep that thought in mind, and hopefully down the road we'll be able to help you out some more here at YourGolfSwingFix.com.
Alright, so I just wanted to follow up my comments earlier about the takeaway as being the least important part of the golf swing. And even Hogan said don't focus so much on it. In the book written by Chris Cheddar, she mentions that she was struggling with what she felt was a takeaway too far to the inside. This was back in the mid to late 80s, and Hogan replied to her that, well, that young man who just won the U.S. Open has a way inside takeaway, and he was referring to Ray Floyd. Now, the club is very blurry in this video, so I'm just going to skip right past it, but you'll see that he pulls it well to the inside, underneath that shaft plane that I draw right there. Now, I'd like to see where the club is when it's parallel to the ground, but he's got his hands pretty close to his body. Let's compare him to this guy. You all know who this is. Jim Furyk. Nobody really wants to copy that setup, but the guy's a pretty good ball striker. Pulls it to the inside and then lifts it straight up Club's parallel to the ground. It's aimed out to the left, out to his left quite a bit. Let's just look at video of Tiger. This is from early this year at Dubai when he was still fighting his swing quite a bit. Well under the shaft plane. Club's parallel to the ground about right there. And it's off to the left. One of his focuses more recently was to have the butt of the club pointed more at his belly. I believe that's more of a Harmon thought as well. I know it's definitely not something that Hank Haney thinks about, but I think Foley kind of adapts that move with the takeaway as well. So many different kinds of takeaways here. Here is Sergio. Draw a line up there. Club's parallel to the ground, right about there. He's right on the plane line. That's what we really like to see. There, he's got pretty good extension away from the body. So that's Sergio. Now we're going to get into some really interesting takeaways. After I show Aaron battling. Now this is a 5-year-old video, I believe, of Badley before he even started stacking tilt, which he has gone away from now. His takeaway, pretty ideal and conventional. Club's parallel to the ground. It's probably aimed a little bit to the left, but club head's right on that shaft line that I drew. Here's a guy, John Senden, who's well known to be a very good ball striker. If the guy could learn how to putt, he'd win every other week, apparently. Textbook setup. Pulls the club a little inside, but the hands go away from the body, and then he lifts the club up. So club's parallel to the ground about there, and it's reasonably close to being parallel to his target line, it looks like, and but he's got his hands well away from his body right there. Here's an oldie but a goodie, Red Funk. Looking like the Hunchback in Notre Dame here. I don't know what's up with that, but maybe the wind was blowing and pushing up that jacket or something. But look at this takeaway. Pulls it well to the inside. Club is pointed out to the right. Well out to the right. Keep in mind, these are all really good ball strikers too. But I'm going to get into some of the funnier swings. Not the best. Here's a good one. Kenny Perry. Guy hits a draw. What does one tip you hear from many pros is, if you're slicing the ball, do a nice inside takeaway. Perry is known to play nothing but a draw. Look at his takeaway. Oh, that doesn't look low and inside to me. Way up and outside. Club's parallel to the ground. He's the exact opposite of Funk. He's got the club pointed way off to the left. Great ball striker though. The guy knew that he was going to hit a draw every single time. Just for kicks, let's look at Norman. Great driver of the golf ball. Viewed as one of the best drivers of the golf ball of all time. Because he could hit it far and just hit it dead straight all the time. Big wide arc he created going back. Pretty textbook right there. Club's parallel to the ground. And he's got the club pretty much right on the shaft plane, shaft line, all the way up. Club's right on his target line right there. Let's see if there's any other good ones I wanted to look at here. Not really. So, but those are a number of different golf swings, a number of different takeaways. All of these players are known to be very good ball strikers, and they basically all had very different takeaways. So, like I said, you know, moving the body properly is what they all did pretty consistent. Most of them did a real good job of maintaining their spine angle. Perry was really the only one that kind of lifts up and out of his spine angle right from the get-go, but he does a real good job of lowering his center of gravity on the way back down. So, just some interesting thoughts there. You know, a lot of times these teaching pros, they want to go straight for the takeaway or the grip or just something right at the beginning, just something that bothers them that really makes no difference in whether you're going to hit the ball better or not. So, you know, and I've witnessed this as an argument among a couple teaching pros as well. I mean, just because something is bothering the pro doesn't mean he needs to fix it, because it might not have anything to do with the critical ball flight error that the student might have. And that's really the key, identifying that critical ball flight error and what causes it. And it's usually not the takeaway itself. It's usually what's going on with the body during the golf swing, but has nothing to do with the position of the golf club in that takeaway position. So, which I define as when the club is parallel to the ground in the backswing. So keep that thought in mind. You know, really your focus should be on what the body is doing in the swing and maintaining your spine angle well and just focusing on good fundamentals, and the club will do the work on its own. It will basically swing the way it wants to swing based on how you move the body. So we'll see you down in the road in some other videos, and that's all she wrote.